What's up everyone, Colby Cheese here with another build video showing off my latest character, which is the Tri-Elemental Crit Trapper. And I don't know why I'm actually in Insidious Armor. Let's go farm like the docks or something for this particular video. Essentially, what I've got here is a Tri-Elemental Crit Trapper. And I'm using the Elemental Equilibrium nodes in order to give all my traps much extra damage since I'm doing 3 different elements. You'll notice Elemental Equilibrium is what I've taken right now. And I will be going into, it's a crit trapper, but I don't actually have any crit nodes yet. I'll have those later. I took all the survivability first. I do have a crit dagger and a crit shield for the time being, as well as a Mallet Arrows so far. But mostly I'm actually relying on Chance to Ignite gem for my fire trap at the moment until I get enough crit chance to be comfortable with how often I'm actually igniting things. So you'll notice what happens is I throw down a shocking trap, a shock nova trap I should say, which is on multi-trap. This will proliferate a shock to everything, just like that. You see everything shock stack. And then I'll throw down my fire trap, boom, everything explodes. And then I'll finish off with a well, usually I'll throw on like flammability as my third thing, and then my fourth one is I'll throw down a cold snap trap. Now sometimes I'll throw a cold snap first, and then shock, and then fire, and then another cold. You know, it just depends on how difficult the area is or whatever. But in this particular case, we're just kind of, I can pretty much, I don't even have to use my freezing trap. But the cold snap trap is the survivability portion. It also, since we're using Elemental Equilibrium, right after you use your fire trap, they're going to be resistant to fire, of course. So in order to make them fully, you know, vulnerable to that burn damage that comes after you ignite everything and proliferate that burn, you're of course going to want to do another element, and in this case, element is going to be cold. So the damage is really nice. I only have like level 15 traps at the moment. You'll notice I'm only level 68, and so I have a lot of leveling to do, a lot of gear to pick up, and a lot of damage nodes that I still need to grab. And sorry, my microphone's really far away from my face here. So the idea though is that this build is going to be fairly mobile, and I've got, you'll see I've got a, since I'm using a crit dagger, which was kind of my plan all along, I wanted to use a crit and spell damage dagger. And so I can use a Whirling Blades. If I have to, I can always weapon swap over and do, you know, leap slam if I get like a wand or something of that nature. Ideal is just to be really mobile, so you can throw down your traps and get out of dangerous situations without too much trouble. Now, one of the most annoying things right now, I have like no move speed. But dude, this is insane. Look at this. Like, I'm just literally throwing down traps, one trap for the most part, and I just one-shot everything. It's so crazy. So crazy. So everything here is just getting blown up, and I can do really well in groups. So I've been doing a couple of maps with a couple of people, even though I'm a little bit low for maps, and I don't even have Arctic Armor yet because my mana regen. That's the main thing that's going to be difficult with this build, is getting the mana regen. You basically have to get mana regen on both your rings and your amulet in order to really run a decent Arctic Armor. That's the one downfall, is that it, yeah, if you want to be defensive, it's gear dependent. If you want to do a lot of damage, then it's also gear dependent in terms of getting all of the crit items that you need. But the build itself is not gear dependent. You can do this self-found. You can do it as a first build in the league, just because you can do just fine without any crit at all. Like, without any crit at all, which I don't really have that much crit. Like, most of my damage is coming from Chance to Ignite, like I said. So let me show you my my gem setup and what I plan on doing here. Right now, I just recently, like very, very recently, switched from using a Flame Blast. And I was using Flame Blast instead of Fire Trap because it does a lot of damage already, and you can charge it up. But the Chance to Ignite gives you a ton of Chance to Ignite, obviously. If you have quality on Flame Blast, it gives you even more Chance to Ignite. So you may even just stay with with Flame Blast for a long time, and you can use your Cold Snap Trap. That's what I did for leveling Cold Snap Trap and Flame Blast, and you can just like 1-stack it, 2-stack it. You don't actually have to like fully charge it. You can if you want to. But essentially, we have a, here's my 4 link. I did Fire Trap, Fire Pin, Elemental Proliferation, and Chance to Ignite. Eventually, we're going to use a crit damage. Once I have enough crit chance, then I'll switch over to increased critical damage, and that'll make my multiplier shoot up by a very large amount. And obviously, since we're trapped, we don't have to worry about things like reflect. You don't have to worry about corrupting blood. You don't have to worry about lightning thorns, any of that stuff. And so you're very effective. You shock stack for parties, you freeze for parties, and you can pretty much one-shot packs of mobs once you get your traps leveled up further. I'll be the main source of damage, the main source of shock stacks, and freezing for groups. So the utility in parties is just retarded. You'll be carrying groups to a retarded amount. I don't know why I keep saying that. Anyways, you get the idea. It's an extremely powerful build. It's great for a 1 week race. It's great for a first character. It's just fun in general. Like I've always wanted to make a trapper, but I just haven't gotten around to it until just this time. Everyone on stream actually voted. I had a couple of build ideas that I wanted to do as my next character. By the way, this is on Invasion, yes. Invasion Merciless Dogs at the moment. And yeah, this was the one that everyone voted on. They wanted to see my Tri-Ele trapper build that I had theory crafted. And it works out really nice. I'm farming really nice into the docks. I can go into the maps right now if I want to. I'm using Grace and Clarity in term for defense. I've got the Arctic armor, but I've leveled it up a little bit too high for me to use. And now I can use it if all I did was Whirling Blades, I would be able to handle it. But I mean that's obviously very annoying because if I start walking around, I'll lose my mana very quickly. But so if I got into a really dangerous situation, I can technically just like stand still and shoot traps. But I just don't have enough ES and mana regen yet, and you'll notice that I'm actually sitting at around 108 mana regen. I think I need about 170 to run a level 15 Arctic armor, if I remember correctly. I have a spreadsheet. You guys can check in the description down below for that spreadsheet to show what mana regen levels you need for different levels of Arctic armor. But either way, that's the in-game goal, is to have enough mana regen and whatnot to run that. Eventually, I can potentially even run a mind over matter, which would be the late game goal of a trapper build. Now, trapper build in general, you're going to have less life than a lot of the other builds, so your survivability comes in the form of freezing and mobility. And so the fact that you don't have to sit there and channel to cast, and you don't have to worry about reflect. So there's a lot of things you don't have to worry about. The most dangerous thing for you is just burst damage. So if you get hit with a bunch of burst damage and you're a little bit lower on life than some other builds. I haven't gotten rid of my gold rim yet, so my life is definitely going to get up. I'll probably get up to around like 5k life or something like that. That's what I can expect for this particular setup. So it'll definitely work out. Like I'm going to get way over 90. I can go into very high level maps and one-shot bosses. I'll be able to do 78 maps, no problem. So it's not like a build that has limitations in terms of that. It's just I'm just letting you know that you're probably gonna have trouble doing something like Exile because there's only a very specific amount of builds that can do Exile. You're gonna have to have lots of I don't know, maybe you could, who knows. If you're with the Whirling Blades, you can probably do her with Sappho's Frame, get some max. Yeah, that's a different discussion altogether. But anyways, the build itself, lots of fun. As you can see, very powerful. And again, I'm only using low-level traps at the moment. The traps are actually, most people will say, oh, your traps are not even good. Don't even use traps until you get to like, level 18 plus traps or whatever. But I'm using level 15 traps. I don't care, YOLO, right? If I wanted to, I can use Flame Blast. I'm still leveling my Flame Blast, I believe, on my offhand somewhere. Yeah, so if I wanted to go back to Flame Blast, it's actually viable to use a Flame Blast in this exact build all the way up until level 18, 19, even 20 traps if you wanted to, because it's so powerful and still works great in groups, well, especially in groups because you have more time to charge up that Flame Blast, which you don't need to. In fact, most of the time I just, like I said, I use Flame Blast with like 1 or 2 stacks. Anyways, wanted to show this off. This is the Tri-Elemental Trapper. There's not really much else to show. I'll show you, I guess the links are pretty much what you expect. Ele Proliff on everything. Let's go to town. I don't want to get invaded here. All right, so Shock Nova, Ele Proliff, multi-trap, trap. That's your shocking setup. I've got trap, cold pin, cold snap, and Ele Proliff for my cold snap trap. And of course, we got, like I already showed you, chance to ignite, conk effect, Ele Proliff, fire trap, fire pin. Funneling could either be increased area or item rarity, something of that nature. for your soul farm. I'm actually still, wow, I just realized my gear sucks, by the way. I'm still using a Rakutiki. It's corrupted with fire damage, leeches life, which, by the way, I don't get like I don't really get any life back from that at all, just so you know. So that sucks. I really need to upgrade that now that I think about it. I ideally would have like a crit chance, crit multiplier amulet with life resist, something like that. My shield is decent, I guess. It's got 163 ES, crit chance, mana, regen, so that's decent. Gold rim, got to get rid of that soon. My dagger has spell damage, crit chance for spells, and that's pretty much all you want. Spell damage, crit chance for spells, crit multiplier, I guess. And Mallet Girls, you're going to want to buy a pair of these. You can get them for 8 to 12 chaos. They aren't that expensive, especially after the nerf. So, oh yeah, auras, grace, and clarity. I don't think I'm ever going to be able to run discipline. If I do decide to mess up my build and take charisma later, then I can probably run it. But as of now, it's just going to be able to run 2 auras with reduced mana. And then, of course, Whirling Blades, faster attacks, and then Arctic Armor. We've got our curses set up with crit weakness. I'm using flammability for now until I get enough crit chance. And I have Itinerary Gems, just leveling that up. Let's see, do I have anything else? Haste for parties if someone else is running Grace. And Leap Slam with a Bright Beak. And a Crest Apprentice for safety leaping. Sometimes you want to safety leap through a bunch of stuff, and the Crest Apprentice will help you block and things like that. So, but I took my faster attacks off and put it on my Whirling Blades. I just gotta get another faster attacks. Anyways, there's the build for you guys. And it is a very viable, very fun, probably one of my best leveling builds I ever, just using like Flame Blast with a Searing Touch. I use a 4-link Flame Blast on Searing Touch for leveling, and a Cold Snap Trap. And I leveled up extremely fast. You can basically 1 or 2 stack and kill an entire pack of mobs. I use Cloak of Flames as well. It's a very good leveling item. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video, learned a lot, and I look forward to seeing your trappers out there and doing well in the Invasion League. So be sure to check me out at twitch.tv/KolbyCheese to watch me playing and leveling up this character, and hopefully not ripping again. So also subscribe to my YouTube if you haven't already, because I'm going to be doing as many videos as possible. I know sometimes I kind of miss a few days, but overall I'm trying to get to the point to where I remember to do a video every single day. So let's stay on top of that. Yeah! Cheese Army! Hype! Anyways, see you guys out there, and have a great day. Peace out.